probably 7 minutes, right? All right. Well, thank you, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, for coming out this evening. I have one question for you, and here's the question. Have you ever had something that you wanted to do so bad in your life, but as of today, you have not yet done it? And I would say yes, right? Everybody. Everybody. Don't tell me you've done everything you've ever wanted to do. Everybody, including myself, has something they wanted to, they wanted to do, and for some reason have not gotten to do it just yet. Well, one of my main bucket list to-dos is to fly a plane. Anyone here fly a plane? Ever flown a plane? No? Is it on your to-do list? Anybody? All right, it's not a plane. Okay, well, it is for me. Ever since I was 5 years old, I read my first book. I fell in love with airplanes. And I always made it a goal to be around them. At 17, I joined the military, and I was an aircraft mechanic. And I worked around planes, wherever the plane went, whatever was going on with that plane, I was part of it. But I never flew as a pilot. Wherever that plane flew, I flew as a passenger, as a maintenance crew member, and I got to sit in the cockpit and watch the plane fly along, and I was there with the pilots, but I never flew. And then I spent 12 years working with American Airlines as an avionics technician. Same thing, I worked on planes every single day. And when a plane flew somewhere and they needed maintenance to go with them, I flew with them. So I was in the cockpit again, seeing everything fly along. Never got to fly the plane. Well, a few years back, a friend of mine has a private plane, asked me if I wanted to go flying with him. And I did. I jumped on and I thought, this is a lot of fun. We got an opportunity to do a little bit of flying while I was on the plane. And every year, I have told myself, I'm going to go get my pilot license. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go do it. And then every year something comes up, whether it's with the kids or work or the business or the wife or lack of income or time, right? Can't even make it to the TLI meetings. Running your own business is tough. Well, this year I said, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to do it. So for the last 2 months I've been calling different flight schools. I've been trying to find out how many hours does it take to actually become a pilot, how many hours does it take to become a commercial pilot. And I said, okay, now I'm going to find me a school that's going to do that. So I started calling around, and I found this school they're basically nationwide, but their closest one is in Riverside. I said, great, let me get some information. What I found out was to become, as I say, zero to hero, right? From nothing to commercial pilot qualified, it's going to take, if I did it, it would be full-time schedule, 12 months. And I thought, wow, that's awesome, 12 months? Because I'm turning 50 next month. So I said, it's now or never. That's kind of the feeling that I'm having. It's got to be now or never. So 1 year. But then I said, well, wait a minute. I have a wife and kids, a business, and all this other stuff going on. There's no way I could commit 1 year time. So then I said, what is your part-time schedule? And they said, the part-time schedule is, you know what? It's 6 months is full-time. I apologize. 6 months full-time or part-time, 12 months. So they said, part-time, you can do it in 12 months. And I said, well, what does that equate to? That's 10 days a month, 8 hours a day. I thought, you know, I could get away 10 days a month. That's roughly on the weekends, you can say, right? I said, great. All right, I want more information. Does anyone here have an idea how much it would cost to get fully qualified as an airline pilot? Anyone? Throw out a number, please.
A lot.
10 grand.
What?
10 grand.
50,000.
You're closer.
How much?
50,000.
Yeah, you're closer, I say. That means it's higher than that.
70,000.
$65,000.
Wow.
I said, well, $65,000, honestly, in a few real estate transactions, honestly, I could probably do it. Let's say 4 or something like that. I could do it. But I also got to pay my bills. I also got to support a family. So it's not going to happen with just 4 transactions. So I called the school and they said, well, you can apply for Sallie Mae programs, which is a government student loan. So I figured, okay, $65,000. Does anyone know what the mandatory age limit is for retiring now in the U.S. for a pilot?
50.
48.
60.
I'm just kidding.
60.
You're close. It's 65. 65 is mandatory retirement. So then I said, well, I'm 50. If I complete this in 1 year or 2 years, I'll be 51, 52. If I get hired, is anyone like American or United or Continental or one of these guys going to hire me? Probably not, because they have to spend probably over the career like $1 million in training with flight simulators and all this other stuff. So are they going to hire me? No. So what are my options? What would you think?
Private plane.
Well, as far as, I know it's not red.
7:41.
My God, I said 8 to 10, did I?
Yeah, so 10 now, okay,
Okay,
well, it's not
sorry.
10.
Because now I'm on the roll, see? I forgot what I was saying now. Okay, so.
What are your options?
Yeah, so what are my options? Okay, so I went online and looked on airline pilot jobs. And I find China Airlines and, you know, stuff in the Middle East. And I would imagine Nicaragua or Mexico, or there's going to be other airlines. But then I asked myself the question, do I really want to commit to flying around the world? I'm not going to see my family probably 10, 20 days a month. I'm going to come home and be so exhausted. Who knows about running my own business? So that gets kind of crazy. So I called the school and I said, Chief, you know, what are my chances of getting hired? They said, well, we guarantee you a job interview with some of the commuter planes, you know, like SkyWest, American Eagle, that kind of stuff. They said, oh, okay. So I said, so $65,000, I'm going to be fully qualified. I'll have my 1,500 hours, which it didn't make sense in my head, the hours. She said, no, you'll have 275 hours. I said, 275 hours? You need 1,500 to get hired minimum with the airlines. So where am I going to do those other 1,500, 1,300 hours? Where am I going to do that? It's going to take me another 2 years or something. I'll be 54, 55. So now it's getting even harder to get qualified, you see? Well, guess what happened today? That's why I thought to talk about this today. Of all things, I've been looking into all this more serious. Let's get it done now. Well, today, someone walked in and we're doing a presentation. I'm doing a live seminar tomorrow for real estate. And we're working on PowerPoint, and my staff says, hey, someone came in and they want to talk to a realtor. And I said, sure, let's talk to them. Well, they come in, they have this accent. And so at first I thought, well, they're just regular buyers. But they went into, hey, I'm a cash buyer. I just moved here from England. And I had all this money. And I thought, wow, this is really great. I said, this is awesome. I said, some of the things that I like to do is fly. I want to learn how to fly. And guess what the father-son team, guess what they said?
They fly.
Not only do they fly, but the other son, which wasn't there today, has his pilot school. He says, my brother's going to hook you up. Just give him a call. He has a school. And he says, you don't want to go with some of these other companies. They're going to rip you off. They're going to charge you a bunch of money. My brother's going to take care of you. And then the father said the same thing. Call my son. He'll take care of you. Is that exciting or what? So then I said, oh my God, what a connection. Because normally I'm not in the office. Normally I'm out there seeing clients, I'm driving around, working from home, whatever. If I don't have to be physically in the office, I'm not going to be there. Because I have an office at home as well. My staff's normally there. But today I felt like going in to help them with this PowerPoint. And lo and behold, this guy. And I realized, I posted on Facebook, I said, fate. It's fate. Right? Someone's telling me, hey, I'm trying to get you there. And you remember, anyone ever hear that joke? There was a joke about this guy. The ground was submerging in water. It was flooding. You ever hear that joke? I'll tell her real quick. It was flooding out. And so they came through and the police said, hey, you got to evacuate this place. You got to evacuate. The water is rising. And the guy said, no, God will save me. God will save me. So he stays at his home. Later on, somebody comes by in a boat. The water's higher. And he says, you got to evacuate. And the guy says, no, God will save me. God's going to take care of me. Well, then they fly by in a helicopter. He's on the rooftop. And he said, jump on the helicopter. This place is flooding. And the guy said, no, God will save me. So sure enough, the water level continues to climb. He drowns. He's in heaven. And he says, God, why did you let me drown? And he says, who do you think sent you all those people, you dummy? Right? So kind of what I'm saying is, you know what? It's like somebody knocked on my door today. I mean, come on. Some guy from Europe, he said he was just driving around and he saw my sign and said, hey, I'm going to go to that real estate office. And he comes in and his relative actually has a pilot training center. I thought, wow, that's sweet. Was that? It just blew my mind. So I thought that'd be a good talk for today. I hope nobody felt the need to squawk on my speech, but with that, I will just leave you with this. If you have something that you want to accomplish in your life and you haven't done it yet, get it done. Thank you.